Live from Boston Pizza in Toronto, 40 Eglinton Avenue East, Yonge and Eglinton. Good friend Patrick over here, the owner of Boston Pizza. Sports Night Radio is now live online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on www.sportsnightradio.com. If you have a question or comment for the guys at Sports Night Radio, info@sportsnightradio.com, along with the Weasel Marciello and his faithful fan base in the back, who are eating and having a great time with Boston Pizza. Along with Richmond doing our sound and Joe filming the program right now. Tonight we're going to be talking about the NHL playoffs. We're into the week number 1. So we're into games number 3 and games number 2. It's been a crazy week. Last night we're at Boston Pizza watching the Montreal versus Boston series. Currently, it is Boston up on Montreal 2-0 in this series. Why is that the case? We're going to talk to Patrick, who is a Montreal Canadian fan, and we're going to talk to Marcello, who is a recovering alcoholic. And no? Okay, well, I decided it was. So let's start with the basics over here, boys. At the beginning, a couple of weeks, last week, I predicted that Montreal was going to win the series. It was going to go to 7. 2 years ago, Montreal was up 2-0 against Carolina in Carolina. Carolina came back to win the series. Cam Ward became the hero as a backup goalie. Carolina won the Stanley Cup. A couple years ago against Boston, Montreal won the first 2. Boston came back to win Montreal came back to win the series. Last year, Montreal won the first 2 in Montreal, and what happened? Went to Game 7 because Boston came back.
Yeah.
Is this something that keeps going on? Is this an issue that just doesn't matter where you go? Game number 3 is the most important game.
Well, it usually seems to be the case. I think the case in Carolina was it was goaltending, and also Montreal. They get a little too cocky. They're up 2-0.
Yeah.
They sit back. They relax. They think they've got it. And there was that incident with Weeks, and then Carolina came back and beat them. Last year with Boston was the same thing. They got a little cocky, and Boston, they never thought that Boston would take it 7 games.
Yeah,
and it came 7 games.
The thing is, I don't see the major difference between the Boston Bruins this year and last year. I don't. Everybody says they see the difference. Boston's this powerhouse. I don't really see the difference. I see that they're a more confident team. I see Montreal is lacking the confidence, and that's the biggest issue. And also is the goaltending. As we saw in the third period last night, Bob Gainey removed Carey Price, took him out of the game, and put in Yaroslav Halak. Now the issue, if you watch the post-game report, Bob Gainey said at the second intermission he was thinking about going to the third period with Yaroslav Halak as a regrouping phase for the third game, which kind of means at that point we've given up on the game, let's regroup. And to me, when a GM and a coach says that, he's kind of throwing in the towel in that game. That's what I heard. Question is to both of you, starting off with you, Patrick. Will we see Yaro Halak in nets tomorrow night in Montreal?
I think we should, and I think it's the best solution for Montreal. But last couple of weeks before the end of the season, they put in Halak in a few games. Unfortunately, Halak's the one that made us get to 8th spot. I think Price threw in the towel. And I think he's been given up lately, and he's just doesn't look as good as he did at the beginning of the season. He's not confident.
I don't know where it goes. His confidence is. There's been a lot of rumors and speculations about things he's done during the regular season, which we're not going to say and speculate about. During the off season, these things are going to come out, and when they come out, I think people may empathize or sympathize with Carey Price, but in this type of series, like the Vancouver series, you get that goalie who steals that series. Roberto Luongo is stealing that series because St. Louis is a really good team, and Luongo is stealing that series. So, March,
You're looking at a guy like Luongo that's been in the league for 10 years now, to a guy that's just come up. He's a kid.
Yeah.
Like all the expectations of Carey Price, it might not happen overnight. He came in as in the first round a couple of years ago, and everybody's already thinking this guy's
he'd won the Junior Cup, right?
He's a proven champion at whatever he's done. Proven champion.
The problem what people don't understand is I had picked Boston in 6. The reason is Boston is a different team this year. You're saying they're not a different team. Sure, last year they gained a lot of experience, and this year they're playing. They got a few extra players, different players, and they're playing as a team. And like I said from day one, the key to Montreal winning is Carey Price. What people don't realize is Carey Price is a positional goalie. Boston's already picked up on that. This guy does not sprawl to the left and right. He goes down. He's got that one standard position that he puts himself into and stuff. And Boston, these are NHL players. They're going to know how to score on him. The confidence, he's a kid. He's living in Montreal. He's enjoying it. I don't think he really knows what it's like yet to be the goalie for the Montreal Canadiens. And the one thing I don't understand in this series is, okay, you're coming into the series, you finished 8th, you finished 1st, it doesn't matter. Montreal, what are you trying to do? Why are you playing a physical game against the Boston Bruins? They are a lot tougher team. Okay,
But
you got speed and you got skill.
But you
That's
can.
what Montreal needs to use
No, but
if you want to get back in the series.
But
You're
you
gonna go
can.
back to
That's why
Montreal.
they're putting George Laraque up front. That's why
George
they're
Laraque. You got one guy against
Okay,
half the
but
team
George
of Boston
Laraque,
that's really
Yannick
tough.
Weber,
No,
Gregory
no,
Stewart. You
no.
put these guys up front to give the other guys room. That's the whole point of what
Yeah,
they're
but the
doing.
difference is the
The
Boston
whole
players
team-
are strong and good.
Thank you.
You know,
That's
we,
right.
we have George Laraque, who all of a sudden discovered
Exactly.
he can play
He's just a
behind the
tough
net.
guy. Big
but is
deal.
he, you know,
Does he have the skill?
Does he have the skill? Exactly.
And we can see he's not a guy who can go up there and set up plays and
No,
make plays.
no.
As opposed if we had a Rick Nash or someone like that, a
Right,
big physical
right,
guy or a
right.
Detroit-style player,
Right.
that could make the difference. Now, question is, Yaroslav, let's say Halak starts in Montreal on Monday. Does that mean Halak has no pressure on him whatsoever? Will that take his level of play and bring it up to the top?
No pressure on him whatsoever. I
He's
don't know
no
about you guys,
pre-
but a first game back in Montreal with the crowd roaring.
Yeah, but he's got
and
no.
the
Remember, he has no
expectations,
pressure.
no.
He's
Why
not the
is there no
starting.
pressure?
He's
No.
not the starting goalie of the playoffs.
He'll
What do you
definitely
mean?
have some pressure, but he'll be more welcoming than Price. Price going back in Montreal would be booed on the ice, as you know, the Montreal fans, very critical fans. Price would definitely get booed, and there'll be added pressure.
But hold on, if Carey Price is your goalie of the future, you got to go with him. Even if you lose the next two in Montreal, it doesn't matter. The
I think-
experience
No, you gotta
alone
win it.
is
Yeah.
what he needs to
As
get.
the
You can't
thing-
go to Halak.
The issue, no, the issue
No,
is
you don't go. No,
you have a coach
you're gonna
slash
deflate his
no, you have a coach
confidence.
slash
No, I
GM
don't
right
agree
now,
with
Bob Gainey. As a coach, who do you play? Okay, as a coach, you definitely go to your backup right now because you've
No.
seen that that Price can't do it. As a GM, what do you do?
You go to your big guy. It's Carey Price. It doesn't matter. If he falters, he falters. Then you got to go into next year deciding who is going to be your number one goalie.
this is
You're
not
gonna
like
put Yaroslav Halak. No.
No.
Big mistake.
No,
Big mistake.
No, I don't think so. I think, and if you look at the past games, when Yaro's in nets, the Canadians play a more defensive style game.
Okay, so they put Yaroslav Halak in that, and they lose with him. Then what do? Go to a fourth game with Carey Price?
No,
Sure.
but if you lose a
And then lose it?
3-2 game like it was, or 4-2 like it was on
Doesn't matter. You lose, you
earlier.
lose.
No,
Then
but
where do you
still,
go? You
got
go to a
peppered
minor
last
league
night.
goalie
No,
to take
exactly.
in the
You're
next
talking
game?
about positional goalie.
No.
3 goals out of those 5 last night were scored the exact same way. So you either change, you either figure out quickly what Price can change, get the coaches on there and say, look, stop doing the same stance. Boston figured it out. Do something different, or you change the goal. But that's his style. He's not going to change. So you got to go with
Which
Halak.
is fine, but you still got to go with your top-notch goalie. How do you
He's
know
not
he
your
won't
top
pull it
notch.
out?
He's not your top notch.
What, and Halak is? He's a
Well, he's
backup
shown
goalie,
it at the end of
Halak.
the season,
No.
right?
Well,
No,
the biggest
no,
problem
no.
is Montreal doesn't have a backup veteran goalie, which everybody said they needed to have just in case. Someone who can room with Carey Price, give Carey Price all the information that he needs to have.
another
That's
thing-
what they don't have.
Okay, another thing you guys are forgetting is, even though Price is not playing his game, Montreal's got to change their game. You're back in
Absolutely.
Montreal.
Absolutely.
Stop the physical play. Get
Yeah.
back to what you know. You're skilled. You're faster than Boston. Use that. Get around their defensemen. Pop in some goals. Let Carey Price gain his confidence back. It's not just Price. Whether it's
we're gonna
Halak or
see-
Price, it doesn't really matter.
We're going to see
It's
it.
the whole Montreal team
Markov
that's
is going to
gotta
be.
change.
Markov has been skating. He's going to be back tomorrow.
You think?
Yeah, he's going to be back Monday.
Okay.
It's for sure. He's been skating already. Bob Gainey said if he skates one day, he's back in. He's been skating 2 days now. Markov will be back. Probably one of the best defensemen in the NHL, if you ask me.
No, he's not the
Can't-
best defenseman.
His stats show that he is one of the best defensemen. And what he does for
No,
the
it does
team,
not.
what he does for the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, once you start watching other teams, there's like another 29 teams in the league. Then you can tell me that, but
He can,
is
out
not
of all,
the best
out of all the
defenseman
guys
in the league.
out of all the guys in the Montreal Canadiens, he can get the puck up to anybody.
Maybe he's the best
faster.
defenseman on Montreal. That's fine, but not in the league.
He makes Montreal better. Without a
that
doubt.
I agree
Without
with.
a
That I
doubt.
agree with.
Can Montreal, just based on Andre Markov being back in the lineup, does that make a difference?
Of course it
Well,
does.
it only makes a difference if
course it
Montreal can cause penalties and get a power play going.
That's what
which
I'm
they
trying
didn't
to
do
say.
last night.
That's
Very
what I'm trying to
indisciplined
say.
last
And
night.
Vera
Penalty
disciplined
after
one
penalty.
power play, and it
Exactly.
was in the 15th minute of the third. It doesn't make a difference to have 29 mark-offs if they don't have
Exactly.
power plays. They're not going to do anything.
That's right. His main plus is being on the power play. If you're going to be taking the penalties, he's got to kill them off.
Yeah.
You're not going to win the game. They've
right.
got to change their whole philosophy.
Absolutely.
Never mind this physical game. You're not going to beat Boston physically.
And we
They're a
can-
bigger team. They're a tougher team. You've
Now-
got to change it up. You're back in Montreal. If you want to get back into the series, use your speed, use your skill, play as a team too. And you know what? You're right. Halak, Price, it's not going to really matter right now because if the team in front of them doesn't change, they're going to be out in 4.